Someone is sitting around and thinking to themselves, when am I going to see you again? You have activated this person's heart space, and it feels like they are feeling a lot of different emotions. There's a lot of fear, but there's also a lot of kind of like warm and fuzzies. This is somebody that is like, yeah, this was unexpected. This is new. I'm not really feeling ready for it, but is it ever the right time for love? And so this is somebody that is kind of just sitting in the midst of that, sitting in this emotional soup inside of themselves. And there's a sense of like wanting to have another interaction with you, wanting to have another conversation with you, wanting to be in your presence. Because every time their fears get the better of them, just a word from you and all of that goes away. When they are feeling, uncertain about sort of the potential between the two of you, or if they're reading too much into the chemistry, and if there's enough kind of like staying power for this dynamic to, be enhanced to the next level, all they need to do is look into your eyes or hear your voice, and there's a sense that everything will be okay. So yeah, you have definitely, you have this person sprung on you. It doesn't feel like they're in the energy of obsession, but this is somebody that is just, they want to keep you very close. They are comfortable in this kind of emotional space that they are in, that they have activated, or that you have activated for them, and it feels like they've also activated for you. So this could be like mutual crush situation, although it feels like this is something where you've at least had conversations, interactions, you've danced around the topic of feelings. Maybe you've gone out on a few dates with one another, you're starting to get to know one another, and it feels like you and this person are really on the same page in a lot of ways, in terms of like, yeah, I like you as more than a friend. I like the experience that we're having so far. I'd like to experience something more with you. So we've got the Three of Wands. This person, it feels like they may be planning like a special event with you, or they're kind of like looking forward, not just to sort of the next conversation, but it's sort of like, where's this connection going to be a month from now? They're starting to think in more of those longer term energies, and it's something where it's almost like the idea of they would be okay if you started to kind of address these feelings more directly, or, if you even came right out. I don't know if some of you would do it like this, but like, what are your intentions? That might be a little harsh or a little direct. That might actually be effective in closing a person's heart space off. But, however it is that you would sort of make that known, kind of question this person in that regard, there's a sense of like, if this keeps going the way that it is between the two of you, then they would be very comfortable having that conversation. This is something that they wouldn't push away from that. They wouldn't like change the subject to something else. It's like, yeah, let's talk about the future. Let's talk about what we want to happen next. Let's accelerate this to the next level. I also have the Eight of Wands. So this is somebody that almost feels like time stops when they are in your presence, or something where you can have conversations and it's like hours go by and it seems like it's only been minutes. And it feels like this person is just like, if I, were to ever kind of like lose time with anybody, I'd want it to be with you. They don't see interactions with you as a waste of time, but even if you're just kind of like making small talk with one another, or talking about kind of like big goals and dreams, sort of actively manifesting your fantasy lives into the here and now through these conversations, there's an essence of like, yeah, we co-create very well together. We're on the same page with one another. You're able to understand the nature of the things that are important to me, or my communication style, it bounces very well off of yours, to where they feel very enriched by these conversations. And there's a sense of almost like somebody that wants to kind of like make time, or to start to prioritize those interactions with you. They want to step beyond, it feels like, the nature of what might be just like an appointed time where you get together, where they know that they'll see you, or something where you might have kept some of your interactions short and brief. There's a sense of like, yeah, I want more time with you. I want to spend more time with you. I want to invest more in this connection, in this circumstance. Because when we part ways, when I go back to my life and you go back to your life, I'm thinking about the words that you've said. I'm thinking about the impact that you've had on me emotionally. And this is somebody that definitely wants to start opening up more about their feelings, to let you know, like through little kind of compliments, little gestures of affection, that it's like, yeah, I'm not just here because I don't have anyone else to talk to. I'm not just spending time with you because I'm bored. But I really like you. I like you as a person. I like the way that you make me feel inside. I would like to see where this goes in more of a longer term or serious sense. Yeah, we've got the Hanged Man. So this person is definitely, keeping tabs on you from afar. Although it feels like it's somebody that you're still in contact with. You've got communication going on, and so this wouldn't be something where it's like total secret admirer. But after you conclude your discussions with one another, after you kind of like go home for the evening, or you spend some time with one another, and you go back about your ordinary day in reality, they're on your social media. They're thinking back on those interactions. They're kind of looking at this from a bird's eye perspective, and like, okay, feelings are now starting to come online for me, and maybe it's happening very quick, and so I'm a little bit hesitant, but I don't want to miss the moment. I don't want to miss the opportunity with you. And so it feels like they're allowing themselves that guilty pleasure and that indulgence, of kind of like checking you out on social media. They're stoking the fire in that sense. They're like feeding into that urge, to kind of like capture the essence of your energy just a little bit longer, beyond the dynamic, beyond the interactions with one another. And this feels like something that they also are at the point of kind of trying to sort of plan ahead, in terms of like, I know I'm going to see you, I know we're going to talk. So they've got like a whole list in their head of like things that they want to cover, topics that they want to cover, things that may even kind of relate to sort of that emotional territory, and scooting it a little closer to that without just kind of being very direct and sort of, okay, let's talk about our feelings now. This is somebody that's kind of like, how can we tease about that? How can we sort of, lean into that in more of a subtle way? Because I'm feeling ready. I'm feeling comfortable. It feels like the right time. And the way in which they see you kind of, living your life outside of the interactions with them, the things you post on social media, the things that you like do for fun, or, things that are important to you, anything you put out as far as your personal style, and, the things that matter to you, all of that is something that this person, they're very fascinated by that. It may even be that a lot of these things are very different from anyone that they've ever dated or been attracted to, or, things that they even kind of know about. And so this is somebody that kind of just watches. They're just absorbing a lot. They're listening. They're learning a lot from you, and it's something which it feels like is helping them to kind of sit with some of these feelings, almost like a feeling of sort of fear inside, not just because they've caught emotions, but it's like, I've never had affection for someone like you. I've never experienced someone like you before. So yeah, these feelings are new, but this is also like new territory that we're entering into. And overall, it feels very good for them. There's a sense like, yeah, I want to stay in this moment with you. I want to be very present within this. I want to see where this carries us forward to. We also have the Seven of Pentacles. So something that you said to this person provided them with a level of reassurance about what might have been like an old issue or an old hang up or something they were very insecure about, that you kind of just like, you brought up. You might have mentioned, maybe it's something about yourself that you shared, that it's like, hey, we have a lot of the same shadows, and so we can really appreciate one another's light better, or something that you said that kind of like demonstrated an aspect of your personality that made like a wall within this person just come down very reflexively, of like, oh, I don't need to kind of hide that part of myself away. I don't need to be self-conscious about that. You're someone that can actually hold space for this aspect of me. You're somebody that might understand my motivations, or where I'm coming from, or the effects of something that had happened. So there's a level of respect that it feels like this might have even been your last conversation that you had with one another, something where you were just like sharing information about yourself. You were talking about something. You were sharing your opinion or your outlook on something. And this kind of like, this opened a door inside of this person of like, wow, okay, I want to step even closer to this, because these kind of intangible qualities of who you are, how you think, the things that matter to you, how you sort of like use your time in this life, all of that is very beautiful. And it's something that I want to be a part of. This is somebody that feels like if they get to know you more, the two of you get closer to one another, that there's a very like unique experience of love that is possible. Like parts of themselves that they might have even like rejected, or that nobody has ever really accepted before. They've never really shown to anyone before. There's a sense of like, I think I could bring some of that to the surface, and you might get where I'm coming from. You wouldn't run away from that. You wouldn't misunderstand me. It wouldn't be something where, I'd feel embarrassed embarrassed or shameful about that. Like I could just be myself. So that might even kind of relate to that Eight of Wands energy that was coming through, about something that they want to kind of talk about, something that they want to kind of bring into the mix of your interactions with one another, a facet of who they are, or something that is like an interest of theirs, or just like a desire, a wish. It might even be where they want to talk about like goals, dreams, long-term plans that other people might have been like, yeah, that's kind of silly. That's, maybe that'll happen or never happen. They've not gotten a lot of support about that, or a lot of people that could kind of understand or relate to that, sort of like niche interests, or just kind of like a secret dream that they've held inside. But there's a sense of like, I think you're the type of person that might be able to get where I'm coming from. You might understand that and not think of it as like silly or frivolous, but might be like, hey, that aligns with something that I'd like, that I desire, that I'm working towards in my own life. And so this is somebody that's very excited about kind of broadening the nature of your interactions with one another beyond just what you've like come to know of one another up to this point in time, beyond sort of what you talk about, or the things that you relate to one another about. There's a sense of like, I want to take things to the next level. I want you to kind of like get to know me on a deeper, more intimate level, like things that are only kind of their own internal and personal truths. It's like, I want to give you a peek behind that curtain to kind of see how it is that I operate, see how it is that I work inside. Yeah, we've got the Three of Pentacles. So it feels like this person is also gearing up to introduce you to friends, introduce you to family. If you've just been like communicating online mostly, or it's been just kind of like casual interactions, this can be somebody who's getting ready to ask you out on a proper date, kind of be seen with you out in the light of day or under the cover of night, whatever that would sort of look like in terms of those interactions with one another. But it's something where they don't want to make a big deal about it. Like, okay, here's this big plunge forward. It's like they want to approach it very casually, but something that lets you know like, hey, I want to take bigger steps in this situation. We've been walking with one another for this duration. We've come this far with one another, and I really like what I'm experiencing. I really like what I'm feeling inside. And so, I want to bring this out of just like the condensed or contained environment within which we've been interacting with one another. And, I want to start to experience kind of different ways in which we can explore this chemistry, this compatibility between the two of us. And if this involves like introducing you to friends or family, there's a sense of like you've reached a milestone with one another. Like internally, there's been some sort of seal of approval that has been given to them that they felt inside. Again, that idea of like a wall coming down, and it's like, okay, this feels right to kind of like not just keep these sort of feelings that are churning in all bottled up, but I want to bring you more into my world. I want other people to get the opportunity to experience you. And it's somebody, it feels like, that doesn't almost like need reassurance from other people that like, yeah, this is a good choice, like keep going forward. But it's almost like they're very confident in that, to where it's not even like, hey, what do you think of this person? But that they would, invite you over for dinner, or have you kind of come to some sort of gathering, or something where they, maybe invite another couple to like come out on a date with you, something like that. And it's a sense that they'd be like beaming with pride. Like, this is the person that I've been talking to. This is the person that has, stirred something emotionally within me. This is who I've been spending time with. Like wanting to show you off, wanting to show this experience between the two of you off to others, or sort of like have others be able to share in that joy that they have inside. Yeah, we've also got the Knight of Pentacles. So it feels like this next step will indicate something that it's like, okay, we're expanding beyond our comfort zone, or I want to expand beyond the comfort zone. Like, I want to see you again. I want to see you more. I want to see you more often. I want the nature of our interactions to become something different, something bigger, something better than they have been. But then I want to spend some time in that zone. So this is somebody that's, it feels like, is getting ready to take like a substantial step forward, but this isn't like, okay, we're taking a substantial step forward and then we're rushing through the next phases, of these interactions. So for a lot of you, this may be kind of like a newer connection, or something that has just been like a slow and steady progress up to this point in time. And this person is like ready to sort of get deeper with you, or to kind of like make some of those intentions or feelings a little more clearly known. So then you can both spend time kind of like in that zone with one another, and like, okay, so now we've laid this all out on the table. Now, this is not something that is just kind of like held inside as a personal truth, or curiosity, or like a suggestion. We're not just sort of hinting at that. So what does that feel like if we're both wearing our hearts on our sleeves with one another? Is the recipe still good? You know, is the soup still savory between the two of us? Is this still something that, you know, this feels right? This feels right. Actually, it feels right emotionally. It feels right spiritually, energetically, intellectually. Like this person, you know, wants to kind of get something out in the open and then see, okay, what is that like after sort of the rush of that conversation, or you know, like the nervousness of opening up about things, as you kind of settle into like, okay, so now we have that understanding with one another. And you know, instead of walking side by side, now we're holding hands and walking together for a little while. Like, what is that experience like? Yeah, we also have strength. So this person feels that you balance them out beautifully. You match a lot of the qualities that they've been looking for and things that they didn't even know could exist within a person. It's like you've opened this person's eyes to things that it's like, wow, I didn't even like think that that was something that, you know, would be like among the things that would be part of what I'm looking for in a romantic partner. Like you've surprised this person. It feels like on more than one occasions with these different kind of layers of yourself that you have revealed out in the open, or the way in which you've responded to things that they've revealed, that is just kind of like making them want to pull you in closer, making them want to kind of protect what you have with one another up to this point in time, and to be a lot more proactive in terms of like, okay, let's start to take things to the next level. Let's start to look beyond just this immediate moment in time to the bigger picture, towards that horizon. Let's navigate towards the future with one another. And with this energy of strength, I mean, this is kind of, these are all timeless readings on my channel, so just whenever you find them and they resonate, take the messages accordingly. But this feels like something that, you know, at the time that I'm recording this, kind of like end of February, and strength, that's Leo season energy. So, you know, like mid-July to mid-August, this feels like something that, you know, roughly over the next 6 months, it's kind of like, okay, I'd like to take a step forward, but then I kind of want to dwell in that comfort zone for 6 months, get used to that, get used to the feeling of that, you know, sort of what's the durability of this, you know, this next big step forward, what's kind of the long-term shelf life of that. And then it's something where they might even be sort of thinking of end of the year plans, like by the end of this coming year, this is where I would intend things to go forward. But we have to recognize where we're at this point and kind of like take steps to get there. But this is somebody that doesn't just want to kind of like dwell in the comfort zone that you're at with one another at this point. It's almost like a big step forward, and then they may be thinking like, okay, then I'm wanting to quantum leap, you know, before the holidays start and kind of as the year is wrapping up, I'd like us to be in a very different place at the start of next year than we are right now. And I'm eager and anticipating like taking other steps to get there. And maybe that can even be just kind of increasing the frequency with which you spend time with one another, or the nature of kind of the things that you're doing in your interactions, or like what you're talking about even. Yeah, we have the High Priestess, so they are definitely, you know, playing their cards very close to their chest. There's a lot of feelings that they're not ready to reveal yet, but there's a sense of like, they almost want to kind of hint at some of these things. Not to just kind of like tease you or, you know, play mind games, but it's something where there's almost like, I want to be direct, but I also want to bring in some kind of subtlety. Like there's an opportunity for romance here, and something where it's kind of like, they almost feel that it would take away from like the sparkle or the magic of the moment if they were just kind of like, okay, I've got feelings for you, I've developed these feelings, so what are we going to do about it? Like to address it head on like that would just not be, it would not be honoring kind of the nature of where you're at, or what it is that they're feeling inside. But there's a sense of, they don't just want to like keep this hidden. They're wanting to start to explore this. They love like the mystery of the unknown in this circumstance with you, and the fact that it feels like things haven't really been discussed out loud directly yet. And so it's just like, they don't really know. They don't know how you feel, if you're feeling the same way, if you're on the same page with them. But it's a sense of like, there's no time like the present. Something feels very right inside of them to, you know, kind of share more of themselves, to open up about that kind of deeper personal truth, because they see that although there's still so much that is as yet unwritten in your story, so much that is, you know, still left to be discovered, it's too soon to say like, this is the one, or, you know, that this would definitely work out as like a long-term partnership. But all of the signs are there. All of kind of the feelings and indicators internally for this person are there that, yeah, this is the right thing to continue to open up, to continue to move forward, to continue to kind of peel back the layers of mystery between the two of you and get into that place where it's like, now we're talking about feelings comfortably. Now that's out in the open. I'm expressing to you how I feel, and you feel comfortable expressing to me how you feel. And we're in that territory beyond just getting to know one another as two people, as two individuals. This is something where they definitely could see themselves falling in love with you. And so this is somebody that is succumbing to that process. They're excited about what happens next. And it feels like for a lot of you, they're getting ready to, kind of open up about some of those feelings as well. So those are your messages. I hope that they resonated with you and that you enjoyed the reading. Like or comment to claim these energies. Subscribe to my channel if you'd like to see more content that I put out here. Don't forget to hit the bell button to get notifications every time I post a new video. And if you would like to book a personal reading with me, I offer those through my Etsy shop, and there's a link for that below. I hope to see you again in another reading. Please take care and be well.